You probably saw recently on the news a very sad story about a 6-year-old dog named Parker who died from something called leptospirosis, which it's believed he contracted at a dog park in Brooklyn. Well, according to the ASPCA, they're seeing more and more cases of this. So we've come to the ASPCA to ask Dr. Emily Pointer what you can do to keep your dog safe. Here's what she had to say.
Leptospirosis is a kind of infection caused by a bacterium called Leptospira. There are a bunch of different types of this kind of bacteria. About 200 are known to be in existence worldwide, but there are only about 8 to 10 that are important for diseases in dogs.
So how would a dog contract this?
There are many ways that a dog can contract leptospirosis, and we can sort of put it into two categories. One is a direct exposure, so that would be, for example, a bite wound from an infected animal. The second way a dog could be exposed is indirectly, and that would be exposure to infected urine, infected soil, bedding, a water source that has these Leptospira bacteria within it.
Dr. Pointer says we've been seeing an uptick in the number of cases in our area because of all the recent rain. It's unlikely your cat will get leptospirosis, but it is transmittable from dog to dog and dog to human, and it's carried by other animals.
They're reservoir species in the environment, and they're mostly wild animals: skunks, possums, raccoons, rats, mice. That's most commonly the animals that are shedding this bacteria, and they're actually subclinical carriers, so those animals aren't sick. They're just running around in the environment shedding these bacteria, and that's the most common way that pet animals become exposed.
So obviously in New York City, rats.
Absolutely, rats, mice, and we do have raccoons, possums, things like that. Absolutely, that's a way that dogs could become exposed and infected.
So what are the symptoms? What should a dog owner look for?
Right. So I think in the beginning, these signs are very vague. You just have a sick dog, a dog who's lethargic, doesn't want to eat, maybe he's trembling because he has a fever. Something's not right. As the disease progresses, you see more typical signs. Leptospirosis can cause kidney failure, so a dog may drink a lot of water, urinate a lot, but still become dehydrated. It can cause gastrointestinal signs, vomiting, diarrhea. And I think the thing that most people think of when they think of leptospirosis is something called icterus, which is a yellow tinge to the skin. So a dog might have yellow inside of his ears, or the whites of his eyes may look very yellow. We call that icterus or jaundice.
So does this have to be fatal? Is it treatable?
Does not have to be fatal. In the veterinary literature, about 70 to 85% of dogs do recover with aggressive treatment. So the treatment includes aggressive IV fluid therapy, aggressive IV antibiotics, and medications to help control nausea and vomiting.
So what precautions can dog owners take to prevent this?
There's several things that I would say. One, people need to understand what leptospirosis is so that they know how to prevent infection in their dog. Don't let your dog drink puddles off the street. Keep your dog away from strange animals, including wildlife. And make sure your dog doesn't run around in a soggy dog park where the risk of infection could be very high. Second, there is a vaccine available. It only protects dogs against 4 of the subtypes of leptospirosis, so it isn't an end-all. It's not going to completely protect your dog, but it is something to consider if your dog is in a high-risk group. The third thing I'd like to point out is that preventative medicine is very important for dogs. For example, here at the ASPCA, you can have a full physical exam and a leptospirosis vaccine for probably around $100, whereas if your dog actually becomes infected with leptospirosis, the treatment for that could run you in the thousands, and your dog could die. So it's important to see your vet every year, talk about risk factors for your dog, talk about other kinds of viruses that dogs can get, other kinds of illnesses, so you can be ahead of the game instead of trying to play catch up and treat your dog in a dangerous situation.
If you'd like more information about this and other safety issues concerning your pet, visit aspca.org. And if you're thinking about adopting a pet, please make yours the next great rescue story and adopt a homeless pet from the ASPCA or a shelter near you. I'm Susan Richard. This has been All for Animals. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.